Hello and welcome back again to VW Feats presents Cornish Pasties. I'm Simple Ian and we shall watch the virtual wife as she constructs what we're calling a Cornish pasty, but here's our first admission. This is not Cornish, and we'll go through quite why it's not orthodox later. First of all, you want to take some meat, and we're using some steak, some stewing steak, to flour it and then to season it with salt and pepper. Make sure that flour coats it. This is what's going to give it a lot more texture later on rather than just sort of drying out and going grey. Nice hot oil, you want to just brown the meat. And here's when we first have to admit that actually what we're doing is unorthodox, because a traditional Cornish pasty will of course cook in the pastry. So cooking it beforehand is in itself the wrong thing to do, but this is how we like it, so enjoy. Now we're going to add some root vegetables, and while the purists will agree that the turnip and maybe even potatoes are acceptable, the addition of carrots is hotly disputed, but we like it, so there you go. Just sweat those down a little bit. So we just add a little bit of stock here. We're using, you can use an OXO cube or any other stock that you happen to have, or a bouillon. Just loosen that up a little bit, stir it round. And then, just to confuse the Americans amongst you, some Worcester sauce, and we're obviously using Lea & Perrins here, which done to exact amounts as you can see, so a teaspoon and a bit. Make sure that goes through. That gives you, don't be afraid of seasoning this. You've got to add loads and loads of pepper to be able to get that lovely flavour as it's, so you can eat it hot and cold. A little bit more stock. And then we'll just leave that, cover it and simmer it, just coming back to it occasionally, making sure that it's all cooked through. So next we take our shop-bought pastry. We don't make our own pastry anymore. You can buy it easily made. Why do that? Roll it out to about sort of 3 to 4 millimeters. That's much thinner than, again, the purists would recommend. And we're doing two sizes today. We're doing a small cocktail pasty, and we're doing a single serving sort of tea time pasty. So using a different mould for each of the two sizes. So first of all, we take the large one. Again, just put some beaten egg around this. This will help it seal and make sure all those goodies don't come out while you cook it. Then spoon on the filling, and again, if you overfill this, it won't seal properly and it'll all ooze out. Because we've used a thinner pastry, you really can't overfill these. Now crimp, unfortunately no sophisticated crimp, we're just using the fork method. It's very effective, but less pretty than the other methods. 2 holes to allow steam to escape, and then get that golden colour with an egg wash on top. Put that onto a baking tray ready, and let's move on to the other side. So these are small cocktail pasties, so we're doing for a party. Again, sit there and egg wash to make sure it seals properly. Again, a very small amount of filling this time, delicately press and crimp. Holes again to let the steam escape. Egg wash and onto the tray, and repeat until you have a tray full of them, which you should then put into the oven. Of course, once cooked, you have these beautiful golden coloured pasties. If we just cut one down the middle here, you can see that we have nice thin pastry and a beautiful filling to be eaten hot or cold. And apologies to everyone in Cornwall.